our gentle yoga for back care class. You may do this on the yoga mat. You may do this on the yoga chair. You can also use the chair for standing behind when we do the standing postures, or you may stay seated. It's okay. It's cool, whatever way you're going to do that. And from here, I'm going to stand up, move this chair out of the way. Thank you for coming to class today. We started at 4 minutes after the hour. We'll try to have a 60-minute class. And one of the things I like to do is sometimes I like to do postural alignment. So what I mean by that is we're going to take our hands and fold them into the pads of the fingers. And then we're going to squeeze our shoulders. So we have a letter W happening with our upper back musculature. And then with the contracted shoulders, arms out into a letter T. Now I'm going to go back to the back of the room. And you can do this seated on the floor. You can't do it laying on your back though, Dan. So, well, I guess you could. You're going to try. So I have my feet kind of looking like number 11s and pointing my toes straight forward. I'm kind of at a tilt today with the room, but that's how it is. And we're going to take our hands, fold them into the pads of the hands. Make sure that forearm is aligned with the top of the hand. So we're not going around with a cocked wrist, okay? And then we do the letter W to feel that squeeze of that upper back musculature. One of the other things that we do, if we're standing to make it more muscle contraction, is press into the floor and then press the legs the opposite ends of the room. So you really get into those hips, the shins, the knees, the calves, the hamstrings. Now, let's extend those arms out into a letter T. I'm pointing the thumbs towards the front of the room, and what is going to happen now is drawing circles forward and back behind you. You may do one arm at a time. So this is for postural alignment, which is one of those key things we kind of need to do to ease back pain, by the way. There's this little oscillation of the body happening. You're kind of like a little waveform, the upper body where the hips are. Take breaks when you need to. And let's breathe in and breathe out. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Relax those shoulders up and down. Kind of bend those knees back and forth. If you're seated, just, do the shoulders, okay? And kind of getting into that side body musculature. And let's do that again. Again, fold the fingers into the pads, feet firm, behind firm into the floor. Letter W with the arms, squeeze those shoulders. So oftentimes where your pain is not where the issue is. Just kind of know that. So we work upper body and lower body strength building. Arms out into that letter T, thumbs up, thumbs to the back of the room. Ooh. Draw your circles behind you and forward. Make sure they're going back behind your midline and in front of you. Might feel a little spicy. Yes, it might. Let's do about 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out here. Kind of bend those knees a little bit. In fact, let's do the shaking gong. We're going to bend the knees or shake the body. Just let those arms shake, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, and bring the shaky arms up, and then softly turn to one side, back to the center, over to the other side, and then bring your arms down, bend the elbows, palms up, kind of little arm flaps there, great for carpal tunnel. Again, you're doing what you can with what you got. Beautiful. And again, shrug shoulders up and down. And let's bring those hands either to heart center or here low on the belly, below that navel center. If you're doing below the navel center, I invite you, well, in fact, let's just do a split. One hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. I invite you to extend that belly out as we breathe in, and then contract that belly button towards the spine. Now you may move on the chest too, but we're going to try to encourage lower belly breathing. That helps increase your cerebral spinal fluid flow. So let's breathe in, expand that belly like you're filling up a balloon, and then contract the belly button towards the spine. Again, breathe in, belly big, soft knees, and exhale. Let's do one more. Here we go. Breathe in, belly and chest out maybe, and exhaling. Beautiful. From here, you can either do a standing cat-cow or seated on the floor cat-cow. We're going to interlace the fingers in front of us and then push the palms away. And then let's curve the spine to the back of the room. Now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see the curvature of my spine. I've got a little bend in my knees too. And then from here, Bring the hands back behind you. Take fists, place them on, the top of your behind. Push your chest forward. You can grab the back of the chair if you're, doing this seated on the chair for your standing back bend or cow pose. And then come back to a neutral place, kind of up and down, nice tall posture. Interlace the fingers, push the hands away, curve the spine to the back of the room. Getting some flexion and extension of the spine today. And then release the hands, fists on the hips, press your hips forward, kind of have your chest go where the wall meets the ceiling. Seated, standing back bend or cow posture. And one more time. Curve the spine, interlace those fingers, push it away. Woo! And then fists on the hips or grab at the back of the chair, chest forward, squeeze those shoulders, soft bend in the knees. Beautiful. Now I invite you now to come down to the floor. Now I've got spicy knees, so I use a chair to come down to the floor. So I'm going to grab the chair and move it away from my yoga mat. And then step one foot back, come down to my knee. That's better. And, I'm going to use this blanket in a little bit, but I'm going to move that chair out of the way. We're going to be tipping onto our back. Now, if you're doing the seated version, come away from the back of the chair. Don't get all comfortable here in that crease of the back of the chair, okay? So come on to your back. It's called constructive rest posture. If you can do this for about 5 to 10 minutes, that often will release lots of held tension in the spine. But we'll not do that today, but it accumulates though, okay? Make sure your block and yoga strap are close by. And again, if you're using the chair in class today, make sure it's close by too. So constructive rest posture, lying on your back. Ooh, my back popped already. And then I'm gonna move my hair out of the way. For me, this feels uncomfortable, so I have to grab my wrist and roll my shoulder up and away, replace it back down onto the yoga mat, and then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Very good. And sometimes still, for me, because I've got that rotation in my spine and shift in the spine, I'm going to walk my feet towards my behind, lift my behind up, and re-roll my spine back on down. That feels a little bit more comfortable in my body. From here, in constructive rest posture, let's do that breathing once again. So Veterans Yoga Project is about breathing, mindful movement, meditation, guided rest relaxation, and that gratitude practice. So our mindful movement also is very meditative when we coordinate that with the breath. Helps to lower stress too. So here we go. Hands low on your belly, and let's breathe in, belly out. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Sitting up nice and tall if you're seated on the chair doing this. Hands on your belly. And again, another breathing. Here we go. Inhaling. And exhaling. One more time, one more time. Here we go. Breathe in. And out. First off, after constructive rest posture, we're going to do the notice pose. If you're doing this seated, you're resting on the back of the heels. So we're going to extend one leg all the way down to the edge of the yoga mat. And do the same with the other one. I kind of hop, walk that one down. And if you're seated, you're resting on the back of the heels. And you're just noticing, okay, how does this feel in the back side of your body? Do you feel congested or stuck or feel sensations? Like my hips feel very tight right now. I have my hip bones. And that right shoulder feels more connected than my left shoulder. That's because of my stuff, right? Just notice what you notice. And then contract your belly button towards your spine. Let's slide a foot back onto the yoga mat, back to our constructive rest posture, and then do the other one. Now I'm going to make sure I got my yoga block close by, because next is windshield wipers. So this is a good one for easing tension out of kind of the hip joints, the pelvic area, and sometimes you need a yoga block to help you with this though. So the leg that's closest to me, you get to pick which one that is, your right or your left leg. Let's take that leg and drop it out to the side. So you're laying on the side of the foot. Now, for some folks, this is too much. So I'll take that yoga block and bring it underneath the rest of my leg on that yoga block. Sometimes I need that on this left side compared to the right side. So just kind of notice what you notice here. And then if you're seated, your feet on the yoga block, balls of the feet, you drop one leg out to the side. And then you're going to take that other leg, drop it towards the bottom leg, or the leg that's already kind of gone out to the side. You might notice some spiciness going on with that top rolled off hip. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take my thumb or the heel of my hand and press into those areas that have a little extra like kind of strong sensation, which I call spice, okay? And it's kind of like pushing into a trigger point, if that makes any sense, if y'all have heard about that. All right, so contract the belly button towards the spine. Nice contraction of the torso. Bring the top leg back to the center. Grab your yoga pant if you need to make that happen. And then the top leg back to the center. So you're back to constructive rest pose. Let's do the other side. So drop the knee out to the other side. And for this one, I don't need the yoga block, but on that first side, I did. And then again, let's take the top leg, drop it towards the bottom leg. So they're not necessarily stacked legs, but you should notice that low lumbar twist happening here on the top side. If that makes any sense. And then squeeze the belly button towards the spine, bring the top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. Again, we're doing windshield wipers today to start out with, our third posture today. And then, or fourth actually, let's drop that original side back on down. Now I don't need the yoga block after the first side. That's what I notice in my body. And then take that top leg, drop it towards the bottom leg. Not all postures translate well to the chair, but a lot of them do. So if this feels kind of icky or odd in your body, just wait for the next one. Okay. All right. Take that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. And then let's take the second side, drop the leg out to the side, and take that top leg, drop it towards the bottom leg. I'm already feeling a release of that low lumbar second time that we've done the windshield wipers. Again, these are poses for easing back challenges. Contract the belly button towards the spine. Take that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. Yay. Okay. So next, grab your yoga strap. Now, if you don't have a yoga strap, you can do this without the gear. You might want to do the video, though, once you have found gear to notice the difference. I had my strap in a buckle, so I'm going to take the buckle out. So those of you that already know what this is, you're going to take your foot into the middle of the strap. We're doing big toe hold, okay? It's also a bone building posture. You're going to take your yoga strap, step on the middle of it, or eventually you will. And then, you kind of line things up, okay? And if you're seated on the chair, you can rest the back of the heel on the floor. You don't have to have it in the air. From here, to get that bone building benefit, what you have to do is take one hand on either side of the strap, pull the strap towards you. Now I've got a little bend in my knee, so I'm going to bend it a little bit more and then push it away. So you have a strong muscular contraction going on here. And I try to line up my toes with my shin, my knee. I try not to have the foot turn out to the side, okay? And it might feel a little spicy in the hamstring, in the quadricep, in the calf, in the shin. So again, it's a vigorous posture. Now, if this is too much for your hands, you can bring your hands up the yoga strap and then wrap the wrist around the strap and then re-engage, pull, push. We have to stay in the posture about 30 seconds to get that bone building benefit. So the muscular contraction stimulates bone growth. So again, this is a posture for easing back pain, by the way. If you're laying here on your back, you may notice that low back firm into the yoga mat. Hopefully it's an okay thing for you today. Always, always keep it between the easy and the ouch. This might be spicy. When we are in a spicy yoga posture, my advice to you in any class you take is to first listen to the breath going in through the nose. So listen to it. And listen to the air exiting your nose. So it's called a redirection of senses. You can kind of get your brain thinking about something else rather than maybe the spicy business going on. Maybe you can stay in the yoga posture. Maybe you can't. Woo! Hello, hands. All right, from here, I'm going to tap, tap, tap the other foot. So tap, tap, tap the other foot. A little vibrational energy happening here. And take that tappy foot and then make it still and drop it out to the side. Half of a windshield wiper. The leg that's in the air, let's drop it out to the side. So it's big toe hold, leg out to the side. So we're kind of getting into the nooks and crannies of that hip socket. Re-engage, push and pull, make it vigorous. Make your hands go, what is happening here? This also helps with building grip strength, by the way. You might feel it in your forearms, your upper back muscles, depending if you're seated or lying on your back today. Pull, 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 push, push, push. Stay here, stay here, stay here. I get to talk. You get to stay in the posture about 30 seconds. Y'all going, oh my gosh, she talks a lot. Yes, I do. And then from here, bring everything back to the center. Contract that belly button towards your spine. Release the strap. That's my favorite part. Clap the hands. Oh my gosh, they're so stiff. Oh, clap them again. And rub some circulation into those palms. Bring it down into the fingers. This is oh so beneficial. Woo. Oh yeah, get some feeling going back on in those hands. Let's do the other side. Y'all probably thought I forgot, but I did not. Strap it to the other side. So I got to raise up on this side to make that happen. Doesn't happen naturally for me. And I'm noticing this side is a little bit more stiff than the other. Okay, notice what you notice too. And again, I'm going to pull and push. I'm going to bend my knee and push that leg away. So I feel my low back pressed firmly into the floor. Again, top of the toes, kind of lined up with the ankle, the shin, the knee. Don't let that foot flare out to the side. Again, gentle yoga for back here. Do what you can. And if it's not your thing, wait for the next pose. That's okay. Yeah. I'm going to bring my hands up the strap and wrap my wrists around to get a little bit better grip for what I'm doing today. And again, you might be feeling this in your biceps, your triceps, your forearms, definitely your hands. Yes. Maybe your upper back muscles, depending, how you're doing this today. If you're seated, if you're lying on your back. Woo. Now, notice, can you invite it a little bit more towards you? It might get a little bit more spicy when that happens. Just notice what you notice, yeah? Woo! Stay here, stay here. Again, we're going for the bone building benefit. It's a clinical study with Dr. Lauren Fishman out of New York City. 12 yoga postures for building bones. It was verified by the gold standard, the DEXA scan, okay? All right, we're going to take that other foot, tap, tap, tap into that other foot, get some vibrational energy going on here. And then take that tappy foot, bring the knee out to the side for the half of the windshield wiper. Woo! Now take the leg that's in the sky, drop it out towards the side. And again, re-engage, pull, push into that yoga strap. So we're going again, kind of at a little different angle here. If you're seated, you take the leg out to the side and again, engage into the yoga posture. You're doing this without gear. Maybe the hands are back behind the thigh and you're inviting the leg towards you with a straight leg as best you can. But this one's a little bit more vigorous, more engaging in the musculature with this piece of gear, this yoga strap. Maybe it's a long towel, a bathrobe tie, a tie, whatever. Maybe it's a dog or a cat leash. Although the cat leash I have would kind of dig into the bottom of my foot. I might put a towel there to protect it. So get whatever kind of stuff you have at home, right? Woo! Stay here, stay here, stay here. Oh my, oh my. And then let's bring everything back to the center. Release the strap from your hands, from your foot. Bring your foot back on down. Clap your hands. Ooh, they're kind of stiff. Ooh. And rub some heat, some circulation back into your body. Beautiful. Now, some of y'all have come into the class, after I had started the class. I'm going to come up to seated, and I'm going to demonstrate the hand posture for the next pose. So this was one of the first postures that we did. We did arm circles, but we did that with the golfer's grip. So you take the palms and you fold them into the pads of the hands. So the next posture we're going to do is letter T arms, overhead extension with a yoga block. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's complicated. It is. But you're going to love it. It's range of motion in the shoulders. It's engaging the core. It's getting the ins and the outs of those hip musculature. So again, it's a posture for easing back pain. So come on to your back. You're seated. Grab your yoga block also, okay? Place that yoga block, the medium width, in between the legs, okay? And then you're going to heel toe in. And then we're going to bring our arms in front of our chest like we're flying through the air, like the super person, okay? And then turn the palms towards you, and we're going to fold those fingers into the pads of the hands, okay? And then we turn the thumbs to face one another. So we're kind of flying in the air with those weird-looking thumbs. Then we bend at the elbows and then bring the back of the arms onto the floor. Now, if you're seated, it's this parallel arms to the floor. And what we're going to do is squeeze the shoulders into the floor or squeeze the shoulders towards one another and release. Now, what we're going to do with the block is consistently push the legs into the block. So it's not like at 100%, maybe 50%. You may want to heel toe your feet in to get that nice, consistent contraction energy going on in the inner thighs. All right, so we're going to do this 5 times. So here we go. Squeeze those shoulders and release. Squeeze those shoulders and release. 3 more. Squeeze and release. 2 more. Squeeze and release. 1 more. 1 more. Squeeze, 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 and release. Hands in front of your chest. Clap the hands. Get some circulation going on. Here's part 2 of this posture. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit more tough seated in the chair. Just know that, okay? Interlace those fingers, squeezy palms. Now, if you're laying on your back, drop those shoulders onto the floor. Look at your elbows. Make sure they're looking the same. And you're still consistently squeezing the block. It gets tiring, I know. Squeeze the palms. Now, you're looking at your squeezy palms. Keep the elbows straight. Contract your belly button. Let's bring the arms slowly up and overhead. Slow is the name of the game. Don't go fast. Your elbows start to bend. Make them go straight. That may be your stopping point, okay? Keep breathing. So I have my arms here on the side of my glasses. That's my stopping point at this moment. Stay here just for a moment and then re-engage your core. Squeeze the block, squeeze the palm slowly. Bring it back in front of your chest. This might feel a little vigorous here. Woo. From here, release the hands, clap the hands. Yay. And relax the squeeze of the block, but don't let the block fall, okay? Let's go back to those golfer grip hands. Fold the fingers into the pads. Make those weird little hitchhiker thumbs. Turn the thumbs towards the center. And again, bend at the elbows, back of the arms on the yoga mat, parallel arms to the floor if you're seated. Re-squeeze the block. Yeah, okay, very good. And let's press our shoulders into the floor or squeeze the shoulders towards one another. Here we go. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. 3 more. Squeeze and release. Woo! Squeeze and release. 1 more, 1 more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze that block. And then bring the hands in front of you. Clap the hands. Release that deeply held squeeze with the block. Rub some warmth, some circulation back into the hands. And again, interlace the fingers, squeezy palms, shoulders down, super straight elbows. Squeeze that block. Abs engaged, torso engaged, basically. Slowly bring the arms up and overhead. Not fast, slowly. That's the challenge. Notice if you're able to increase your range of motion. Maybe, maybe not. So I'm here on the side of my glasses now. I'm going to wiggle my thumbs. I'm not quite to the floor. I don't know if I'll make it to the floor today. We'll see, because we're going to do one more round, by the way. Woo! All right. Contract your core, that torso. Squeeze the palm, squeeze the block, squeeze your belly button, and then bring the hands back in front of your chest. I'm kind of going fast. Got to go slower. Release the hands, clap the hands. Yay. Unsqueeze the block a little bit here. Rub. Circulation into the palms. I think this is my favorite yoga posture, rubbing the palms. Is that a yoga posture? It is today. And then fold those fingers again into the pads. I could bring some of my fingers down, so they're eventually down now. And turn the thumbs to the center. Super person arms going on here. And then bend the elbows. Here we go. Last round. Yay. Last round. We're going to squeeze a block and then squeeze the shoulders and release. Squeeze and release. Sometimes I squeeze the block extra too, but that just kind of happens. Squeeze and release. 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. Squeeze and release. Last one. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then hands in front of your chest. Clap the hands. Release that vigorous squeeze of the block just for this moment. Last set, last half of the 3rd set. Interlace the fingers, squeezy palms, shoulders down, elbows look the same. Check, check, check. Squeeze the block down. Okay, squeeze the belly button, squeeze the palms, arms up overhead. Now go slow. Go slow. Even slower if you can. Now, if you got a spicy shoulder, it'll keep you from going too deep. Just know that, okay? in front of my ears now. I'm going to wiggle my thumbs. Ooh, I can touch one of my thumbs, just barely though. I'm like stretching here. Notice what you notice. All right, squeeze that block, squeeze the belly button, squeeze those palms, slowly bring it back to, in front of your chest. Once it's in front of your chest, release that, interlace fingers, clap the hands, rub some heat into the palms. Yay, remove the block. Excellent. From here, let's do the notice pose. So extend the leg all the way down to the edge of the yoga mat. You may have to shake the leg out a little bit. And again, you're on the back of the heel if you're seated doing this. Do the other one. And move those hips, move the shoulders, move the feet, and then maybe just rest the arms out to the side. Notice what you notice. Maybe you're more connected to the floor, to the chair. Maybe there's less tension. Maybe there's more tension. Again, notice what you notice or don't notice. Okay? Squeeze that belly button, slide a foot back onto the yoga mat. Let's do a windshield wiper before we come up to seated, and other foot onto the yoga mat. So again, tall posture, don't curve into the back of the chair. Drop one knee out to the side. Notice what you feel here or not. And then take the other leg, drop it towards the bottom leg. So I'm more rolled off the yoga mat on this third time that we've done this. Is it our third time? I think it is. I don't know, I'm not counting. And then squeeze that belly button, bring that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. Excellent. Other side, drop the leg out to the side. Oof. And then top leg towards the bottom leg. Again, you know, a lot of my behind is off the yoga mat on this third rendition of windshield wiper. So I'm feeling some release happening with the yoga postures. Bring the leg back to the center and then the other leg. Now, what I do, because I have SI joint dysfunction, I walk my feet towards my behind. I lift my behind up, then I turn. Otherwise, it really kind of gets into me. If you ever notice like severe pain when you roll over in your bed from one side to the other, that usually means your SI joint is out of whack. And, you know, there's stuff you can do to get it back into place. But I'm not going to go into that today. I'm going to come up halfway. Sometimes you can feel dizzy when you've been laying on the floor. And this is kind of like your reset point. Or, you know, you come up all the way to seated, whether you're going to sit in the chair or sit on the floor for a moment. And I like sitting on the floor. It feels weird on my spine. So I take my yoga blanket, which is, excuse me, air bubbles are happening. I have like a little rectangle here and I fold it into thirds because I'm wanting to create an edge on my yoga blanket. And so I take kind of that inside and I sit on the edge of the yoga blanket somehow, some way. And it takes a little bit for me to get there again because my SI joint dysfunction, it feels weird in my body. Make sure my block's close by too, because I think I have spicy knee going on today. So I'm sitting here crisscross yoga sauce. I got a yoga block underneath. This is a reason for having two yoga blocks. Maybe if your knees are more up than it is towards the floor, this just kind of helps support that without having gravity, like eventually drag them towards the floor and make it feel icky in the body. So just kind of know that, okay? So if you prefer to do this standing or seated in the chair or on the floor, you get to choose, all right? We already did cat-cow. We did a variation of cat-cow. We'll probably, well, yeah. We're going to do side lateral flexion and unsupported twist. So side lateral flexion, that's already feeling better in my body. I don't know if I need that block. Sorry. I just kind of like, you know, this kind of feels icky. So this helps it feel less kind of icky. Yeah. All right. So we're going to inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Very good. Sneak a hand either on the chair or back behind you or here to the side of your body. You probably can't see it because I blocked. Well, who knows? And then you're going to inhale, reach a little bit more. Keep both buttons on the floor, reach up, and bring that side body over. Now I'm bending that back elbow to kind of have that be my support. So I don't go a little too far. And then inhale back on up. Exhale, float it down. So this is my pacemaker side. Interesting enough, my pacemaker side can do more than my other side. It's really strange. Let's do the other side. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. And again, I'm going to sneak my hand. You can do a fist or a wrist here. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, lean that side body over. Woo! You might feel it from your hip to your armpit, yeah? And then bring it back on up and down. You know, we're going to do that one more time. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Exhale, bring an arm down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lean that side body over. Inhale, back up to the center. Exhale, float it down. Let's do the other side. Both arms, inhaling, circle, sweep arms up. Exhaling, bring an arm down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lean that side body over. Ooh, a little bit more, huh? Inhale, back on up. Exhale, float it down. Beautiful. I'm going to try to switch the knees now. So I switched how my feet were. Nope, that doesn't feel good. I'm going back to the original direction. Again, spicy knee. So, you know, kind of related to back pain too. So next is unsupported twists. So we kind of did we do a twist? We did a low lumbar twist when we did the windshield wipers, but now we're going to do a thoracic spine twist, kind of from our collarbone down to our pubic bone. So we line the chin with the chest when we turn from one side to the other, okay? So we're going to do that letter W once again. We're not going to do the golfer grip arms here, but we are contracting the upper back musculature. And I'm going to tilt my pelvis a little forward. I'm on the edge of my yoga blanket so I can kind of do that. And you're sitting up nice and tall on your yoga chair, or you're standing doing this, yeah? So we're going to breathe in, let the belly be big, relax. And as you exhale, contract that belly button. Now turn over towards one side. Now we're chin aligned with the chest. So unsupported twist means we don't bring the arm across and push into the arm because that leverages you into a twist, maybe going too much for those of us with back challenges. I often lose the outside shoulder, so I re-squeeze it. Breathe in, belly big. Exhale back to the center and release because we kind of held that for a little bit. So let's kind of shrug those shoulders up and down. This is also part of lymphatic drainage when we do the shoulder shuffle. So just kind of notice if you have some excess sinus drainage happening when you do the shoulder shuffle. All right, and just kind of shake those hands out. Very good. Let's do that again. Go back to the squeezy shoulders, letter W arms. We're going to go over to the other side this time. So breathe in, belly big, belly button tight, turn over towards the other side, chin aligned with your chest. So you're kind of moving as an entire unit, okay? Stay here a little bit. And then join me for the next inhale breath. Breathe in, exhale back to the center, and release. Let's do a little something for dowagers while we're here. We're going to shrug our shoulders towards our ears. So you're kind of squeezing the armpits. Now keep that weird feeling, that weird look. Turn halfway to the side. Woo, building the upper back strength here, and release it down. It feels better when you release it. Come back to the center. Let's do that again. Squeezy shoulders towards your ears. You're wearing them like earrings, yeah? I know it's a weird analogy. And then turn halfway to the side. One hand in front or one hand out to the side. Relax those shoulders down and come back to the center. So again, you're doing the neck stuff. You're kind of like forward with your head. The letter W twist, the shoulders towards your ears kind of eases a lot of that tension. Also, when we did that standing back bend, the fist on the hips, that also helps us to kind of lessen that tech neck, yeah? All right, for those of you that can get on your hands and knees, this is the next portion of the class. It's oppositional reach. If you're doing this seated, so you may want to scoot your behind a little bit more kind of in the mid part of the chair, because what you'll be doing is doing a bent elbow or straight arm up, and you'll take the opposite knee up. You may have to bring a hand underneath the opposite side to make that happen. Just, you know, kind of know that, all right? So that's your seated version of the pose. This is also known as what? Bird dog, oppositional reach. Yeah, I don't know the other names for it. But I'm going to take my yoga blanket. Again, that was kind of an optional piece of gear. And my knees need a little extra support. So I'm going to take my yoga blanket and open it up and place it where I think my knees are going to be. So I'm going to kind of walk onto the yoga mat. And then for oppositional reach, you're in what they call a tabletop position. The hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then from here, again, this activates the multifidi, the deepest held muscle in our back. When it turns to fat, it recruits other muscles to do the work, thus causing back pain. So we're trying to target that particular muscle. So I'm going to take one of my legs and extend it all the way down to the edge of the yoga mat, probably off the yoga mat. And I'm going to press my heel to the back of the room to where I feel that calf. Seated on the chair, you're just seated on the chair. And then you're going to take your opposite arm or your left arm, bring it by your ear. Now, if you're seated, you're going to raise that right knee off the ground. If you're here on the yoga mat, lift that right heel and reach from the opposite end of the room with your hand and your foot. There may be some wiggling going on. Woo! And release it back to the center, back to the chair. Move your hips a little bit side to side like you're wagging the tail on the dog. That also is good for easing back challenges. And let's do the other side. So right arm by the ear, left leg extended. And then when you're ready, contract that belly button, lift that leg up. Oppositional reach, bird dog, spinal balance. There you go, 3 names for the same pose. And release. Woo! Let's do the other side, but first, let's breathe in. As we exhale, extend an arm and a leg. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, lift that leg. Inhale, arm and leg come back to the center. Very good. Exhale, opposite arm and leg extend out. Inhaling, stay here. Exhale, belly button tight, lift that leg. Extend that arm more towards the sky and release it down. Let's do one more each side. Here we go. Opposite arm and leg extends out as you breathe in. As you exhale, contract that belly button, lift that arm, lift that leg a little bit more. Inhale, back to the center. Very nice. Exhale, extend that arm and leg. Stay here, breathe in, belly soft. Contract that belly button, lift the leg, lift the arm up, and release. Beautiful. From here, we're going to come back to standing. I'm going to turn around and use my chair. What you can do here is have the hands be at the top of the yoga mat and then take a foot up in between the hands. I use the chair to help me with this. Curl that back toe, lift that back knee, then take that back foot, hop walk it towards the forward foot. Once it's there, hands on the hips, hinge up. Woo. And again, when you come to upright, there can be these dizzy issues, right? So what I like to do is have my feet be a little bit wide, hands to heart center, chin towards my chest, soft bend in the knees. As I breathe in and breathe out. Again, inhaling and exhaling. So for our balance poses or warrior poses, I use the chair or I'll use the wall. You have the option of doing that. You can do these postures also seated. So what I'm going to do is take my yoga chair and place it on the yoga mat for more stability. And then I'm getting that yoga block close by because we use that for seated tree pose. So make sure it's close by. Okay. So for seated warrior, don't know how to say words today. You bring a leg out to the side and naturally return to the center. But I invite you to turn your torso out and over the leg that's to the front of the room. And again, don't let the knees drop, okay? Just have them pushed to opposite ends of the room. They look like a letter L or a V, and then you're turning that torso. So what we're going to do is be very vigorous with the feet. We're pushing firm into the floor. Now I'm going to stand up and do the standing because most of the people in the class are doing the standing version. So you step those feet wide, and I use the chair to help me do that. And then I kind of wiggle out a little bit more. Now I'm going to lift my heel, turn the foot to the opposite or to the short end of the yoga mat, bend that knee. So I try not to be leaning out, try to have those hips aligned with my shoulders. Now again, whether you're seated, whether you're standing, I'm going to go a little bit wider. We're going to press firm into the floor. And again, we hate wrinkles. We're going to press down and press the opposite ends of the room. So you're really getting into that hip musculature, whether you're seated, whether you're standing. Okay, letter W, here it comes again, right here. And engaging those shoulder muscles, engaging the feet, the hip muscles here, and extend those arms out into a letter T with the squeezy shoulders. Maybe you can bend the knee, maybe a hand has to go on the chair. That works either way, okay? Woo! We're going to move through this posture. So let's inhale, bring the hands back to heart center. You straighten the leg if you're standing. And then exhale, bend the knee, arms letter T, extend those arms out. Very good. Inhale, softly straighten the leg if you're standing. Hands to heart center. Exhale, bend those knees, arms out into a letter T. Squeeze these shoulders. Let's do one more. Breathe in. And then go back into the posture. We're going to change this into, let's see, what do they call that? Reverse warrior. We're going to do a palm up, and you're going to reach out a little bit, and then bring that arm up into the air. Hand could go on the chair, on the hip, down the leg. I'm going to hang on to the chair on this one. You can eyes look where the hand is, but that makes you look dizzy. Just kind of look forward near the elbow. And then float the arm down. Softly straighten that leg. Pivot the foot. We're bringing it all back to the center. So walk it in, jump it in, whatever you need to do. Kind of move those feet a little bit. Bring the knees together if you're seated, and step the other leg out to the side, because we're doing side two. So step those feet way up. Here we go. And then go a little more if you can, yeah. And then again, I lift the heel, then I turn a foot. Again, that's for my SI joint stuff. I don't want to turn with weight bearing. It just kind of feels icky in the body for me. And it might for you too. We're going to bend the knee towards the short end of the yoga mat. And I always make more adjustments here. Maybe I can go a little wider with that other foot. And I'm looking to see, is my knee aligned with my foot? Pretty much so, yeah. Firm feet into the floor. Again, press down and then spread it to the opposite ends. Woo, hello hips. And again, go back to those squeezy shoulders. Squeezy shoulders. And then arms out into a letter T. Maybe bends in the knees a little bit more. Now you can go back to hands to heart center, straighten the leg, or circle sweep arms up. And then bend the knee, squeeze the shoulders, letter T. Again, choose which one you want to do. And then inhaling, straighten the leg, arms up. Again, if you're on the chair, keep the legs solid. Exhale, letter T, squeeze those shoulders. Let's do two more. Inhaling, reach, reach, reach. Bend the knee, arms, letter T. I think there's one more. Here we go. Inhaling up. Very nice. Bend that knee, arms, letter T. Re-squeeze the shoulders. Firm feet into the floor as if you're kind of pushing the opposite ends of the room here. Woo! Now I'm going to do a palm up over that bent knee side or whatever leg you stepped out to side. Reach a little forward and then arm up into the air. Hand on the chair, hand on the hip, down the leg. You can look where the hand is or where the elbow is, or look forward, depending on your wiggliness today. I'm hanging onto the chair today. Firm feet into the floor. Don't lose the feet. Don't lose the legs, because these are bone building postures also. Woo! Both the arm down. Straighten that leg. Pivot the foot. And then walk it in. And walk it in some more. Okay, kind of bend back and forth. We're going to do the tree posture. I'm going to show the seated one first. If you already know how to get into tree posture because you've done yoga before, please do so. But if you're doing the seated version, here it goes. I'm at the edge of my chair. I'm taking that yoga block a little bit forward here, and I'm stepping the ball of the foot on the yoga block, and then I'm turning the knee out to the side. And I'm going to take the other foot kind of into that yoga block, and I'm pressing the side turn foot and the foot that's into the floor firm. Squeeze the shoulders, arms into a wide Y or V. And again, I'm not just having the feet lay here. I'm being vigorous in the posture. Now, the standing version, which you all probably are already in it, but I step out, lift my heel, turn the foot out to the side, make sure the one I'm balancing on is pointing towards 12 o'clock. Now, try not to have my hip jump out. Try to have it nice and straight. I use the chair. Lift the heel, walk the foot into the ankle bone, the calf, the inner thigh, but not the knee joint. Arm or arms can go up or not. But make sure the leg is not traveling to the front. Make sure it's out to the side, okay? I'm going to do a bent arm on this one. Can I release the chair? No. Look, I got swaying tree today. It is what it is. I can be on the ball of the foot too and still have it be a balanced posture or a wiggle posture. How about a wiggle posture? And release. Kind of bend those knees. Let's do the other side. Let's go over to the other side. Here we go. Here we go. And again, move your yoga block, step your foot out, lift that foot, turn it out to the side, and here we go. Now this side, I'm able to bring it into my inner thigh, but not on the other side. So again, I've got imbalances one side versus the other. You can raise up, Again, invite the leg to come out to the side. You're pressing vigorously into the floor. Squeezy shoulders if you're doing that wide letter V seated. Trying to keep your balance or trying to keep your balance from wiggling too much. Whatever it might be, right? Now, I like this one because I can press vigorously into that inner thigh. I call that my cellulite buster, even though I can only do it on one side. You can also do this laying on your back with the leg into your calf or your ankle bone. It feels a little different because you're weight bearing on the back side of your body. So a very interesting way to do tree pose and release. Gonna bend one knee, then the other. Grab your yoga block. Let's get back down to the floor. We're doing block bridge next. So that's a lot of people's favorite yoga posture. Again, I'm going to use my chair to come down to the floor today. Nothing like a hurt yoga teacher to teach yoga for back pain, yeah? Because we kind of know what's going on with the body, right? Because we've experienced that and kind of know where you're coming from. So block bridge is another mechanism for releasing deeply held tension in the body. But first, we're going to do notice posture. So come back onto your back, knees bent, sit up tall in the chair if you're doing the seated version. And just right now, notice what you notice with, your back into the floor, your hips, the bottoms of the feet. And now we'll go into notice posture. So extend one leg all the way down and then the other. And just kind of notice, okay, how do those buttocks feel on the floor? The shoulders, do they feel evenly distributed on the floor? You feel less tension kind of in the front of your hips, the calves, the feet. Now, let's go into block bridge. So we go back to constructive rest pose. So bring a foot onto the yoga mat, then the other. Then you're going to take the medium width and press into the back of the chair. Hopefully you have a back to your chair. I do not on mine. Or maybe go over to the couch and do this. Or go onto the couch and do what we're doing here on the floor. We're going to walk our feet towards our behind. Either use your own hand to lift your behind up or your own muscular strength. And then place your low behind on the yoga block. You may need to make some adjustments. And then I take my shoulders and kind of walk them away because I feel all kind of crunchy up here. Now this feels weird for me and my pacemaker because my pacemaker kind of shifts up on my chest, but I've gotten used to it. But if you've got an implanted device, you might feel some strange stuff here too. Just take it easy. You don't have to do the block to do this pose. So the next thing we're going to do is raise a leg up and shake that leg. And just breathe in and out. And then shake it side to side. That always feels weird to me, shaking it side to side, but you still got to do it. And again, shake it up and down. And then let the leg be still and bring the foot back on down. You may notice some sensations going on here. Woo! Other side. Bring the other leg up and then start your shaking. Getting that vibrational energy into the body. And then side to side. Here we go. And again, shake, shake, shake. Now, if you want to, grab your yoga block and then bring the other leg up into the air. Now, you can keep the feet on the floor if you're doing the seated and just shake the legs, yeah? And side to side. Oh. And again, shake, shake, shake. So we tried to cover Vicky's favorites today. We did spinal balance. We did windshield wipers. There may have been some others in there. And then again, shake it side to side. From here, make the feet still and bring one foot down. Nice and slow. And the other. And you're going to press into the floor. Bring that yoga block out. Roll your spine on down. Ooh, notice what you notice. So that's your number one reason for having a yoga block at home. This pose right here, block bridge. And extend one leg. We're doing notice pose, going into that guided rest. Maybe shake it a little bit. Do the other one. Now you can stay here with the feet wide, hands on your belly, hands out to the side. Or for a lot of folks that have back challenges, they'll bend the knees and have the feet be really wide on their yoga mat and then drop the knees in. That's very comforting for the body. Now for some of us, we do, instead of legs on the wall, we'll take our lightweight chair Mine's like a metal chair I got at Walmart, I think. And then I'll cartwheel the back of my calves onto the chair, and I'll cross at the ankle. Then I'll walk my behind away a little bit to have that traction feeling to do our guided rest. So you choose what's comfortable for you, but I just invite you to get comfortable, whether that's seated on the chair, whether that's laying on the couch or the floor. And this is the part where I come up to the front of the room and I do that guided rest and relaxation portion of class. So let me get that other chair to the front here. So again, I invite you to get comfortable, whatever that means for you today. I'm getting all my clothes nice and comfortable here. Whew. So let's just kind of set aside our thoughts just for a moment, let go of those thoughts, and just let's breathe in and breathe out. Just notice the places in the body that are moving as you inhale and as you exhale. And again, breathing in, breathing out. And if you'd like to set an intention for this little mini practice, maybe it's something like, I am pain-free. So you say it's something like in positive present moment language. I am pain-free, I am calm, I am stress-free, something that's particularly resonates with you. Or if you can't think of anything, because this is a back yoga class, I usually, because I am in back pain a lot, I just say, I'm pain-free. You repeat that silently to yourself 3 times, and I'll let you do that here. Good. Again, I invite you to get a little bit more comfortable. Maybe that's kind of really getting into the back of your chair, or wiggling a little bit on that yoga mat. Maybe you've got a hand towel, you can cover up your eyes, or sometimes I take my yoga strap and just cover my eyes. So I invite you maybe to gaze down at the floor, have the eyes be soft. They can be open or closed, whatever you need. You can keep moving if you need to also. So what we'll do is call the elongated breath. So I will clap my hands 4 times. We'll breathe in, and then we'll slowly exhale to a count of 5. So that's to lower our blood pressure, lower our heart rate, to help us drain the brain of its waste, okay? And it's also, if you're in the doctor's office getting your blood pressure done, you can use this technique to lower that blood pressure. So let's do this, okay? So let's breathe in, pausing for a second, and then slowly exhaling. Again, big breath in, belly expands. And slowly, slowly out. One more time. Breathe in, belly big. And slowly, slowly out. Very good. I invite you to notice the different sensations in your body at this moment. So whether you're lying on your back or seated on the chair today, notice the sensation of support of your buttocks, the back of the legs, the feet, the upper, the mid back, maybe the back of the head, maybe the back of the arms if you're laying on the floor. Again, notice that sensation of support, feeling very weighted, very supported in the back places of our body. Good. Now we're going to flip that to feeling the places in the front side of the body. Maybe you're feeling the air coming across the skin, your neck, your arms, your face, maybe the feet. Just notice when you contrast to compare that to the places in the back side of the body, feeling very lightweight, very feathery in the front places of the body, compared to being very supported, very weighted in the back places of the body. Again, contrasts feeling light, feeling very supported and weighted or grounded. Again, light and feathery, and feeling weighted and supported. Good. So this next one is, imagine, there's a little opening here at the very top of our head. And as we breathe in, we're going to bring in all that healing sunshine at the crown of the head, and it's saturating every cell in the body as it goes all the way down to the tips of the toes. Notice if there's any strong sensations going on with the body. You can bring some of that healing sunshine to that area. Again, let it saturate that every cell in that place of the body. And as you exhale, think about where your feet are connected to the floor. Maybe it's the back of the heels, the bottoms of the feet. As you exhale, let go of what no longer serves you today. So again, breathe in that healing sunshine. And as you exhale, let go of no longer serves you today. Very good. Once again, bring in that healing sunshine. Breathe in. And then exhale, let go of what no longer serves you today. Beautiful. From here, I invite you to come back into the now, back into the present moment. So let's just kind of wiggle those fingers, wiggle those toes, kind of move those wrists, those ankles, kind of up and down with the heels. And if you're lying on your back, you can bring one knee into the chest and then the other, and just kind of roll side to side. If you're sitting here in the chair, maybe you're shifting forward a little bit, the knees wide, hands on the legs, and you're doing the wide upper body circles. Whether you're doing knee circles or upper body circles, just kind of enjoy this little bit of movement here. And then let's reverse. Let's go the other way. Very good. And then come back to the center. Now, if you're laying on your back, go ahead and roll over onto your side and slowly push up to a seated place. Everybody join me here, seated somewhere, and drop your chin towards your chest. Again, we can feel a little dizzy when we come up off the floor to an upright position. So this is to equalize our equilibrium, our movement that might be happening in the body. And in fact, let's bring the head back to heart center, and let's take a chin and look over one side of our body. Then bring it back to the center. Slowly turn the chin, the head, over to the other side. Very good. And then back to the center. Very nice. Let's end with our gratitude practice. So think about one thing that you're grateful for, or maybe an idea of gratitude. And just for showing up today, let's take our hands either to heart center stacked or hands together, or maybe hands resting in your lap, and drop your chin towards your chest in gratitude of showing up today. So I really admire your determination, your discipline, your dedication, and your responsibility for showing up for yoga today, for showing up for chair tai chi, whatever classes you do. You're doing this journey of self-help. So again, I just love that y'all are doing this dedication, determination, discipline, and responsibility for you and your body. I love it. Again, whatever you're grateful for, grab it, place it into your heart space. You may keep your chin towards your chest, or you can lift it to gaze forward, eyes opened or closed, as I say our traditional sayings to end our class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take the peace, the strength, the understanding, and that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the bright light in me honors and respects the bright light in you. This concludes our practice of gentle yoga for back care. Let me stop the recording.